This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Let's go back to the night of this. And yes, Josh, we do feel good criticizing you because at worst you're incompetent, at best you're covering something up. What is going on here the night of the actual murder? Let's walk through that. We'll start with the ex-fiance saying he was down at the gym in the apartment and came back up. Why don't you take it from there and what the official story has been?
Yeah, and so he says he went to work out, and I believe the time frame he gave was only 30 minutes, which in and of itself I found a little odd. Most people can't go work out in 30 minutes, but some
I
can, so I
could.
don't want to make too
I
much
could
of
because
that.
I
You
get sick
can?
of it.
You run on the treadmill for 15 minutes,
I'm
you're like,
done.
I'm out of here. Give me a towel, I'm coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't make that much out of it.
Yeah, I went
But
on that one.
anyway, he comes up quickly, let's just say,
Yeah.
within a half an hour, and he says the door is locked, and they have one of those latch hooks like everybody's familiar with on a motel room. And he says it was locked, and he tries to get in. He makes phone calls to her. He goes down. He tries to get, the individual working there at the apartment building to come up with him. That person says, "Listen, this is against policy to break in the door. You're on your own." So he goes up there, and remember that story got very blown out of reality.
Yeah.
In other words, it was said that he actually came with the fiance, Sam, but he didn't. And he gives an affidavit that says that. And he says he broke open the door. Well, anyone who understands these latches and what it takes to get the door open, my background with that is with SWAT and breaching a door like this. It literally takes off one side or the other.
Yeah.
And you can see there's little to no damage on that door frame. And I posted the different ways you can easily make that lock work with a credit card or with just jimmying it to make it look like it was actually done. And then you can undo it. It's very easy. So in any event, that is one of the possibilities. And that he came in, he says, after he broke open the door, found her. He purportedly calls 911 right away. For those of you who have heard that call, it's very disjointed.
Oh God.
They ask what happened. He said, I don't know. Words to this effect, she might have fallen. And then later they say, well, can you give her CPR? Well, I can't give her CPR. She's got a knife out of her chest. Well,
Well,
when did you notice that?
and I want to add a piece to that. It's not just not wanting to give CPR. It's I suppose I have to, right?
Oh, yes.
That's the actual comment where you can give her CPR. Oh, I suppose I have to, right? This is the reaction that he's giving as his fiance is dead on the floor. Another point, I want you to continue, but another point to that I noticed, Jennifer, and I've listened to the call 1,000 times, and we've played it back 1,000 times this week on the show, so I'm not going to play it again, but if somebody wants to hear it, it's on every segment this week about this. Is the fact that he goes into the phone call seemingly being very upset and seemingly already being very knowledgeable that his fiance, may be dead or that something truly happened, but he's discovering all of these things as if he's doing it on the phone call with the 911 operator for the first time. That I found very odd as well, where if you go into your apartment, you see your fiance looking questionably alive or not on the edge of the room, I would think you'd run over there first and see if you can help her before you immediately pick up 911 and just go, can somebody come and help? If you're the one there, I think you'd be trying to help. But if it all played out as that was, he was just first discovering these things on the phone with 911, which again didn't make a lot of sense in context with the case.
I couldn't agree more. That's exactly right. There's nothing congruent about what he says as opposed to what somebody normally does in this situation. And I'm not saying I understand different people act
Yeah.
differently, but he literally acts, halfway through the call, shocked that there's a knife in her chest
Yeah.
and seems confused about what could have happened to her. So I agree with you, Tony. This is a perfect example of if you're going to stage a 911 call, what not to do.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It is a horrible. It's so cringy. And again, I am not saying that the ex fiance had anything to do with this or did this, or anything of that nature. What I'm saying on this is, why don't you just talk? Why don't you just give the investigators any more information that you have? Maybe you already have it. Maybe we're just unaware of it. I don't know. But I would think if the person you love and you're about to spend the rest of your life with dies under this bizarre of circumstances, you'd be almost making it your life mission to get justice for that person. I don't know. Everybody handles things different. Maybe it's just I want to run away, walk away, and not have this haunt me for the rest of my life the best I can. I guess that could be an answer, but it's very bizarre. Just give your story and then be done with it. And if you have nothing to hide, then that should all add up and we should be good, and the family could have some closure. But he hasn't communicated with the family. We've heard that through the attorneys this last week as well.
Well, and what he did do was spend, I believe it was in the neighborhood of 40 minutes with his uncle, who is a prominent judge, on the phone with him. That also I found to be very odd. If you were distraught, upset, you've just lost the love of your life, you're getting ready to get married, invitations have been sent, wedding dresses made, venues, everything is lined out. As you said, you're going to spend the rest of your life, and now you've lost her. I don't know. Maybe they're just very close and he just sobbed on his shoulders, but he came over and took all the devices after that.
That's what doesn't make any sense either. I mean, I can see, getting some legal advice if someone you love or a family member going, hey, this just happened. This does not look good. I don't know what to do right now. Give me some legal advice. Give me what I should be doing here. I don't think any part of that advice would involve, hey, let me come over and take every single digital footprint that we can out of here for simply no reason. I know eventually it did get turned back over, but why the hell did you do that? And what's what's the motive behind doing that?
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why these searches that purportedly took place regarding suicide, to me, don't mean near as much, because when were they done? Who had access? Were they put on there with these searches made after her death? We just don't know. But it's all been contaminated, that we do know.
At this point, obviously, yes, that's been contaminated. This People want justice here. The family wants justice here. Ellen deserves justice for what the hell happened, because it was not a suicide. Was it someone close to her that murdered her? I don't know. Was it somebody that got in? The door latch thing is extremely questionable, because it does not appear that this door was broken down. I don't know what to make of what can happen anymore, considering so many things that have been tainted. Is this case just kind of so far gone? So many people have been able to weasel their way into it for whatever their motives may be over the last 14 years, that we're really never going to truly know, or there's not going to be enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to eventually point to a single individual.
I think there'll never be enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt unless there's some smoking gun we don't know about in some way, unfortunately. And I'll tell you, yesterday I spoke with both Sandy and Dr. Greenberg, and they were so distraught. And I'll tell you why. I actually called them in celebration. I talked to them obviously right after all of these changes, but then again yesterday, and they were so distraught. And I'll tell you why, Tony,
Yeah.
because this is what the ruling is. First of all, the ruling hasn't changed.
No.
Yes, Dr. Osborne, who's now in Florida, has said it's something other than suicide. And all they've done is refer it back to Chester County for another ME there to make a determination. And so nothing's been changed on the books. And B, they've said Chester County relook at it. Well, Chester County looked at it for 2 years and said it was a suicide after 2 years. So they have lost all hope that anything promising is going to happen. And they literally sounded as down as I've ever heard them.
Wow. I mean, that's surprising, considering that they are making some ground here. I mean, they're got the medical examiner to say what they're going to say. But yes, you're exactly right. It doesn't change anything on the books. And it's just another empty promise that they're getting of, oh, yes, we'll reinvestigate this again for you. We looked at it for 2 years. We did. they didn't look at any. I mean, they didn't. I mean, otherwise they would see the facts of what actually this case is. This is such a glare. I don't understand. This is just like saying that the sky is hot pink and it's blue at all times, and just go along with it. That's what's said. It's shocking. You can't come back from the dead and stab yourself. She couldn't have done these stab wounds to herself, even if she didn't come back from the dead. You just,
I know. It's a case that I think gets people very emotional, because to see this young, beautiful woman with her whole life ahead of her, a school teacher, just really at the edge of starting a life, and to be murdered, I believe, in this horrific fashion, and then to have all the injustices done to her. And as you said, the only collaboration that I can see so far, conspiracy piece, is just the fact that the fiance called the judge and the judge came and got everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, the judge didn't do that on his own.
No.
They had a conversation, and that leads me to believe that part of a conspiracy. How all these other factors figure in, the Emmy, law enforcement, Shapiro. Is it just incompetence? Is it just Shapiro saying, listen, I've got 100 other things on my desk. Let's just take it on and let it sit there for a few years. Don't worry, they'll finally forget about it. And oh, I'll just pass it back over when they get so frustrated with us that, it's out of my hair. Is that what we're talking about? There's just a lot of questions that need answered.
There's too many questions here that need answers. There is just so much with this case. It gets more and more baffling by the day, and nobody's saying go arrest this person. This person is guilty. There's certainly people who look very suspicious in this game of Clue. Unfortunately, it's not just a game; it's people's real lives. But we just want answers. We're not saying it's you. It's just answer some questions. Just fill in the blanks here, because the places that you could be filling in are completely empty and they don't look very good in your favor. And the way it appears to be playing right now is that people are covering something up. So if that's not the case, enlighten the world, please, so we can get on the track of who killed Ellen Greenberg. This is just... Someone got away with murder, and I just wonder if we're ever going to get there to actually hold them accountable.
Well, and to your point there, remember, the case of standing is before the Supreme Court as we speak, at Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So we are waiting to see if the Greenbergs are going to have standing to challenge. They took that other case against the Emmy and Emmy's office, but they're waiting to hear about further standing. So we're still waiting that decision. And also, of course, what Chester County is going to do. I'm going to give you my bet, nothing. It's going to be ruled a suicide again, and the Emmy is going to say, hopefully, says undetermined. If they do that, then at least the Greenbergs can go forward with a death suit against the son-in-law. Yeah. And I believe that's what they should do.
Yeah, and that would be interesting. That would certainly open up a lot of interesting evidence and discovery if that were to take place. Just a case that never seems to end. I really hope the best for the Greenbergs, and that they can get some sort of peace here, knowing that they have certainly fought the good fight, unlike anyone else has yet.
The latest true crime stories, expert breakdowns, and shocking twists, all in one place. Press subscribe now to the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.